first off, like, what do that mean to be in tune with yourself? Okay, so I don't know if you ever heard before. You probably have, but everything that you need is on the inside of you. Okay, God put everything that you needed on the inside of you. So everything that you could think of, everything that you need, always go within first before you do anything else. Go within and meet yourself from the inside out, and that'll give you all the answers, all the clarity, all the direction that you need, that you really need. So what do it mean, to be in tune with yourself? Okay, you notice what you feel without judging it. You trust your inner signals, that you get from your body, your emotions, your intuition. You respond to your needs instead of overriding them. You know how to draw boundaries. You know the difference between, you know, what your values are and what other people's values are. So it's not really about being calm. It's about being honest with yourself and being true to yourself. If you're not honest with yourself, if you're not true to yourself, it's almost darn near impossible to be honest and sincere and truthful with other people. Okay, so today we just gonna talk about a little bit about how to get more in tune with yourself. Um, During these moments, during these times, especially the quiet moments, the quiet times where you could really, hear your inner self, and where you could get downloads, or you could receive instructions from the Most High, or you can really tune out everything that's going on around you and really tune into what's going on inside of you. Okay, so the first thing that you could do is slow down. You know, slow down enough so that you can hear yourself, so that you can hear your thoughts, so that you can hear instructions, so that you can hear the voice, of your higher self, or of the Most High. You can't hear your inner voice when everything is loud. Um, that's why the best time, in my opinion, to do this is early in the morning. Before the world is up, before the calls come in, before the emails come in, before you got to be at work, before the kids got to be at school, before anything demand your attention and demand your day. Taking that time to just pause and check in with yourself, set your intention for your day, and spend some time in stillness. No phone. Some people say no music, but I love a good instrumental, honey. I love a good instrumental. I love like instrumental worship music that I could listen to with no words. Just like just music. You know what I mean? That's just my personal preference. Or you could just be silent. You know what I mean? And you can ask yourself, what are you feeling right now? Or what do you need right now? Or what do you want out of the day right now? Okay? And then being as less judgmental as possible. You know what I mean? Like, we are judgmental. That's just the way we are. We compare a lot, we judge a lot, but we first got to learn not to judge ourselves, and whatever we feeling or whatever we feel like we need, and just being able to accept that without judging it, and being aware of it. Being aware, because awareness comes before change. I think I touched on this before. It's like, if you are not aware of something, you almost in the dark. Essentially, you almost in the dark, because you don't even know where to start, because you're unaware, you're not aware. But if you are aware of something, or a need or a feeling, then guess what? You better able and equipped to do something about it. So step number 2, something that you could do to get more in tune with yourself: check in daily. Check in with your body, check in with your mind, check in with your emotion. Your body really speak before your mind do. Okay, so where in your body are you feeling the tension at? Where do you feel like you need ease at? Some people carry stress in their shoulders. Some people carry stress in their chest, or in their hips, or in different areas of the body. That's your body speaking to you, and it's up to you to really listen to it and really see, like, what do my body need right now? What is my body telling me and teaching me right now? Self-trust grows through listening. Listening to what? Listening to what your body is saying. listening to inspirational things and motivational things such as this video right here. That is how your self-trust grow. Okay. And then even that, you have to, even this part is something you have to be ready for. Some people, they still in they stages where, you know, they want to play, they want to have fun, they, you know, kind of still distracted a little bit, and that's okay. You meet people where they at, so it's no judgment here. But, you know, some of the things that I talk about is really geared and aimed towards people who, you know, who really ready, you know what I mean, who, you know, want to level up, want to change, you know, want to put themselves a better positive, you know, experiences and situations. Okay, so let's keep it moving. Number 3, this is a big one right here. This is a big one. So feeling without rushing past it. So what does that mean, Sadie? That mean like you uncomfortable. Essentially, you uncomfortable with like your feelings and how you feel, and tapping into your emotions and where you at mentally and things like that. Like it's almost like you suppressing it. Like you don't even want to deal with it. You just act. You know, you don't want to be vulnerable, or you know you shy away from being vulnerable or opening up, or exploring these things and exploring these emotions and exploring yourself, you know what I mean, versus, you know, letting the emotion be, you know, and letting it move through you, because the only way out is through. A lot of times we be in uncomfortable places, and the first thing we thinking we wanted to be over. Okay, I'll raise my hand first, because I have been in some painful situations, you know, physically and mentally, painfully, very painful situations. And the first thing we want is out. We want to get out of the situation. But the only way out is through. You have to go through things to grow. You have to, you know, let things flow. You have to grow through things. You can't just be uncomfortable and then want to skip the hard part. You know, that's how you get to the promised land. That's how you get to your blessings. That's how you get the rainbow after the rain, is by going through something, not by avoiding it, not by running away from it, not by shying away from it. So it's just really letting your emotions and your feelings move through you. You know, allowing it to be, you know, and what do that look like? You know, it may look like crying. You know, it may look like breathing, or deep breathing, or journaling, or walking. You know, I practiced a couple of these things today and last night. You know, journaling, writing is very powerful, because we're not meant to keep everything bottled up. You keep everything bottled up, what's going to happen? Just like if you have a can of soda, and you shake it up, and you know it's bottling up, and then you open that bad boy up, and psh, you know, you get this big explosion. That's kind of how your emotions are too. You know, you have to let them out, because they're going to go somewhere. And that's why you have people who practice different behaviors, and you look at the behavior, but you're not looking at the root of the behavior. That's really what this is, you know, when you see somebody doing something, or you see something on the news, and you wondering, like, you know, why are they acting like that? You know, why are they talking like that? You know, why are they saying that? But it's really something, you know, deeper underneath that they carrying, that they just not, you know, letting out in a healthy manner, if that makes sense. So even like once again, I said, you know, crying is release. You know, it don't always look pretty, it's not always comfortable, but crying is very healthy, very, very healthy. I notice for me, music moves me, and that makes sense because I love dance, and you know, music is a very big part of dance, and connecting with sounds, and instruments and voices, and different things, being able to connect with that. So I could listen to a song. I just heard a song today, actually, beautiful song. It's called Better, and the artist, what's her name? Oh boy, I cannot think of her name, but the song is called Better, and I actually praise dance to this song a long time ago, and it's a very moving song, very touching song. The artist called Jessica Reedy, that's it. And when I heard the song, I was like, wow, this is such a beautiful song, and I haven't heard the song in years. mind you, I told you I praise dance. I made a whole dance to this song, and I haven't heard this song in years. I mean years, honey. And it just came on my playlist today. I just had like a regular playlist on my computer playing, and the song came on, and I was just like, wow, I haven't heard this song in a long time. And when I listened to the song, I thought about the dance. I listened to the lyrics of the song. Very, very powerful song, very beautiful song, because it's very relatable. Okay, so it did move me in that way. Okay, so emotions are messengers; they not enemies. All right, there's no need to be afraid of them. There's no need to shy away from them. There's no need to avoid them. Um, they're messengers, and the more you tap into it, the more you lean into it, the more in tune, essentially, the more in tune you become within yourself, and then you're able to distinguish between what everybody else got going on. What works for somebody may not work for you. Like always keep your originality, your individuality. Like, we here together, we experiencing this thing together, but we different. You know what I'm saying? So, always, be true to yourself, and, it may look different than everybody else. You know what I mean? But that's okay. We all not meant to look the same, to sound the same, to walk the same, to create the same things, like that's the whole point of it all, is that diversity, not just race and background and ethnicity, but what we bring to the body. You may bring something different to the body, and you have to honor that, and I have to honor that as well. So moving forward, another way, to stay in tune with yourself is noticing when you pretty much abandon yourself, even if it's just for a slight moment. So asking yourself things like, did I say yes when I meant to say no? Did I minimize what I needed for the sake of somebody else? Did I ignore my own intuition? This is a big one. This is one I really learned, through trial and error, through experiences. What is your gut telling you? What is your intuition telling you? Where's your inner voice, and that power that's within you? What is that telling you? You know what I mean? Forget, like I said, forget what everybody else got going on. Forget what everybody else is doing. What's going on with you, because a lot of times people don't know if they coming or going. They don't know if they coming or going, so you can't follow them. You can't go based off of them. Okay, so getting into it starts with noticing disconnection, not shaming yourself, not shaming at all. It's just noticing that you feel out of place, you feel out of touch, you feel disconnected from yourself, you feel like you live in life in autopilot, outside of yourself, like things around you is moving so fast, and you just experiencing it, you just a part of it without actually having power, over it, because you do have power. All right, so moving forward, we got like a couple more. Another thing you can do is create one daily practice. That's it, one daily practice. Even if it's the idea that I talked about in the beginning, is the morning, setting that morning intention, setting the intention for your day, commanding your morning. I know Cindy Trim is really big on that. Like, she talk about that. Like, I think that's how she really got famous and popular for real. It's just by that commanding your morning piece, and just how powerful that truly is. What else? Other ideas? Evening reflection. Before you go to bed, reflect on the day. Reflect on what you got done. Reflect on what went okay, what didn't go okay, what could go better tomorrow. How you gonna handle tomorrow? How would you handle a challenge that pop up again that's similar to this one? Different things like that. Like, it's really tailored to you, and what you feel comfortable with, and what you like to do as well, like your interests. What interests me may not interest you, so it's just really tapping into you know what you enjoy doing. Some people are artists, some people they paint or they draw. That's why we have art therapists out there. I think that's a beautiful thing, because sometimes people could paint, or they can draw, or they can, do things that kind of helps balance them, or help keep them at bay, or keep them at peace, or help them clear their minds, or help them gain clarity. Whatever that look like for you, put it in daily, and consistency, small consistency make big effort. Okay, it beat big effort. What else can you do? Ask better questions. This kind of go with the beginning as well. Instead of asking, yourself things like, what's wrong with me? Why am I so emotional? Why am I so sensitive? Why do I think like this? Really ask yourself, what do I need right now? What feels good right now? What feels aligned for me right now? There was a time where, this was years ago, I had my son and I wanted to go back to school, and I was like, I mean, like, really, I really wanted to go back to school, but things had happened, some stuff had happened where I wasn't able to go back at that time. And I had to do what felt right for me. Other people was kind of like, you can still go, you should do it, you should push yourself, blah, blah, blah. But I knew what was right for me in that time, and it just wasn't my time at that moment. And, a few months later, I was able to go ahead back to school, but I had to listen to myself. You get what I'm saying? Not listen to everybody else, because, people they not in tune with you the way you in tune with you. Okay? Asking yourself, like, what do self-trust look like for me? What do self-trust look like here, in a specific situation? Trusting yourself, okay? And probably the last thing really is acting on what you gain from tuning in. What do you gain from tuning in, and making sure that you are putting action behind it. All right? So it's listening without action is disconnect. It's like you know what you're supposed to do. Your intuition is telling you, the Most High is telling you what you need to do, but you ignoring it. You choosing to do the opposite. You choosing to let fear rule you. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. You gotta really act on what you feeling, what you vibing with. Act on it. Rest when you tired. Speak up when something don't sound right or feel right. Choose what feel right to you. Choose what feels aligned to you. Even if it's uncomfortable. I have been in many uncomfortable situations. And I'm not a confrontational person, mind you. But, when something really gets to me, I have to speak up. Like, I have to do something about it. Like, I can't, not everything. I'm not saying everything, because some stuff I let go. But some stuff hit me on another level where it's like, okay, let me have a conversation. Let me talk to this person. Let me go ahead and, make my case known, or make my perspective known, or, put my perspective out there. Okay, so, that self-trust, it builds through following up with, what you need, if that makes sense. So, you don't lose connection to yourself overnight. So you're not going to rebuild it overnight either. All these things that we talk about is a practice. This is life. This is not, I know what to do. I always do the right thing. This is, I do my best. You do your best. That's what this is. Okay. Every moment of honesty is progress. Being real with yourself. Some people, they may like, spending their time doing things that's not aligned with your lifestyle. And that's okay. You got to stay true to yourself. Especially, if you try to, let go of some things, or if you're trying to get rid of some old habits. You got to be mindful of the environments that you put yourself in. You know what I mean? You got to be true to yourself. You can't, make decisions based off other people's comfortability. You have to be okay with your decision and what you do. Okay? So, You know, if this video resonated with you, make sure you drop a heart down below. Subscribe to the channel. Share the video out with 1 or 2 people you feel like it resonate or connect with. And happy Friday. I hope you have a blessed weekend. Lord willing, I will see you soon. Hopefully Monday. Don't quote me on that. But take care, and take care of yourself, most importantly. Peace.